Hey, this is Prabhat. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. We'll wait for a few minutes and then I'll start.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Hello?
Yes?
Hi, this is Sirisha.
Shirisha,
Yeah.
could you put it on mute and I will ask one by one to give the introduction?
Okay then.
Sure. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes?
Hi, my name is Sanya.
Hi, Sandhya. This
Hi.
is Prabhat.
Hello, Prabhat.
Yeah. So you're able to get in, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, we'll let everyone talk one by one.
Okay.
So give a couple of more minutes.
Sure.
Sanya, can you put yourself on mute? Like there's a mute button right next to.
Okay.
Yeah. That is my aim. Okay. Anybody has any other questions? Okay. So let's continue our class. And this is the content that we are going through. You can see
May I say sorry to disturb you? Is anybody having trouble with the audio when Manish speaks? Just want to make sure. Is it clear for everybody?
It's clear.
Clear. Okay. Cool.
very good. Yeah. Okay. So introduction, that is today's class that we are going to go through. And the next class, in this class, we will see introduction to the software testing. Generally, we will see some of the case studies that happened in the past and what we learned from that. We will see that in the introduction class. And also we will see generally what a software tester do. Okay. What actually the job functionality, what he's going to do. And we will see some of the software testing terms and definitions. There are many terms we are going to learn throughout this class, but there are specific terms related to software testing that you have to know, and we will see those terms and what are the differences between those terms. Okay. We will see some of the definitions also. And again, after that, we will see the types of testing. as you guys know, there are many types of testing, but we will see the major types of testing that generally everybody uses. And as I said, there are so many testing types, even some of the testing types I don't know. But whenever I need, I will go to Google, try to find the information, I will go on with that. But most of the testing, every company that they use, everything that you need to know as a software tester, that we will see what are the definitions and when we use, and those things that we will learn in the types of testing. Okay. As we are seeing that software development life cycle, that is in the second class, there is also life cycle for the testing. Okay. We will see that in the testing life cycle. The testing life cycle, we will see what are involved in the testing. Okay. The software development is so many people are involved, but when it comes on to just the testing, what actually we do, when we do, what kind of documentation that we prepare. Okay, when we prepare, we are going to see that in the testing life cycle. Okay, then we will see some of the software testing documentation. Some of them are like really just go through each and everything, and some of them are just to give only because you need to have some experience to prepare those documents. Okay, so that's why we see the software documents and what are those contents. We will see that in the software testing documentation. Part of it is preparing the test plan. Okay, how you prepare your test plan. That is testing documentation. Then we will see the introduction to database. Okay, even though we are not learning much about the database, but we will see what is related, means what we need to have knowledge in the database in order to do your software testing. Okay. Everybody thinks why we are having the database class in software testing, because software tester also, they use the database. So we have to know how we can use software database into software testing. Okay. We'll see that in the basic, like how to get the information from the tables. So that we will see in the introduction to that database class. And once we have that, okay, some of the topics will overlap, or some may be first and the other will be the next, but we will cover all the topics. And one of the software testing documentation class, we will see how you write your test scripts. Okay, so we will take some of the requirements. I have created some of the requirements, and based on those requirements, we will write how you can write your test cases. Okay. Once you write those test cases, we take an application, one of the sample applications, and we will try to execute that. Means we try to test that application, how use in real life, how you test it. Okay, that we will see that in that. And while you are testing an application, and some of the parts of the application might work and may not work, then what is going to happen? That we will see in the defect tracking. Okay, if it is not going to work, then what we will do and how you open the defects, those things we will see the defect tracking. Okay, for that purpose, we will be using Quality Center. Okay, Quality Center is a tool of HP. It was part of Mercury, but now it is owned by HP Electrical. So I will show you that tool, and generally how do you not only tracking the defects, but also we will see how you can write your test cases in the tool. Okay, and how you can execute those test cases from the tool, the Quality Center. And while you are executing, we will see how you can open the defects, how you can track it. We will see that in the defect tracking. Okay, and automated testing and test tools. Even though in general, whatever we are talking in this class, we will see introduction to automation testing. Okay, that generally they will have another separate class for automation testing. So that we will be covered in detail in that class. But we will have some introduction in this class. And also some of the technical interview questions. Of course, we will be having that throughout this class. And we will see some of the interview questions and the resumes and know your first day of the work that will be covered once we complete this by Prabhat. That will be taken care by Prabhat, because once you are done, if you are ready to further job, they can guide you how you can prepare your resumes and how you can prepare for that work, so and so. Then we will see some of the advanced SQL statements. I would not say that this is advanced SQL statement, but we will see how you can use more SQL in our testing. Okay. So I don't say for the sake here we say it's advanced SQL, because SQL is it's on its own means you have to learn separate class. I cannot cover everything in the SQL is something like a portion. Okay. So we cannot cover everything, but whatever the testing point of view, you will be seeing that in this class. Not only this, we will be having quiz after every session, means after every topic. We will have some of questions, and we will going through that some of the questions, and you can give your answers, and after that I can give my answer. You can compare, so it will be in the class like it's like a discussion. And also somewhere like I will give a topic, and you guys can discuss about that topic, what you know and what you don't know, and we can discuss maybe about 10-15 minutes. That will be in the class too. Okay. Apart from this, we will be having 2 tests. Okay. I will notify when we are going to have these tests. One maybe after 4 or 5 classes, and the last one used to be on this, means whatever you are learning, it's not only just listening here, but also I want make you to work so that you can succeed in your job faster. Okay, that's why I'm going to put these tests, and you can attend those tests. Generally, it will be online. I will be sending the document to you guys, and once you are done with that, then you can send it me back, and I will review your answers, and I will send it back to you. And if you need it, then we can discuss in the class too. Any of the questions you may have, any questions over there, we can discuss on that one. Okay, so that is briefly about this software testing class, and these are the topics that we are going to cover there. Okay, so any questions there? Okay, one more thing I would like to point that generally our class will be 2 hours. I always say that 1.5 hours to 2 hours, but based on the experience, always it goes to 2 hours. So I would say 2 hours to 2.5 hours. Please be prepared for that. And whenever I say it's 1.5 hours, it always goes to 2 hours. So now I'm making it as a 2 hours so that it will be more than 2 hours. I will try to be limit to 2 hours. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to cover the topic. If it requires, we can extend, another class, but I will try to be 2 hours to between 2:15, 2:30, not more than that. Okay. So if anything that need to be discussed, then we can discuss in the next class. So be prepared for that. Always it goes beyond 2 hours when we discuss, because people might have some questions. We will be discussing something else, and generally it goes beyond 2 hours. Okay. So anybody have any other questions? Just either you can talk or chat. Okay. So let's go to our first slide. This is the reference book. If you guys want to buy, or if you guys want to use anything, this is one of the book. It's a plain English, simple to understand. You guys can refer, and maybe in second hand you can find maybe $15-20. If you already have a book, I'm not recommending to buy a book, but if you are planning to buy a book, this is one of the books I can recommend it. Okay. And some of the websites that you guys can see and review whenever you want. And of course, you always can go to Google and try to find, any word related to testing. You can find many topics that you can choose and you can go through. And these are some of the testing websites generally I visit. I feel that they have some information, so you can also visit there. I will send an email to all this website information. You don't need to write. And one more thing, whenever generally I subscribe to some webinars and I will get some information wherever it is. And whenever I get it, most of them are free. You guys can attend to. I will send emails to you and I will get all your emails from Prabhat or Prasad, anybody. They will send the emails to me. So once I get that, I will send some of the webinars. It's a free webinar. So all you have to do is register and you guys can attend it for free. Even though it's not, you may know or may not know, but it will not harm once you go and attend it. Just listen to those webinars. Okay, it's online and it's free. Whenever you are convenient, if you are convenient around that time, you can attend those webinars, and there will be definitely you will get some information out of those classes. So you can attend that or can send those things. Apart from this, I will be sending some emails, more information related to the QA and some documents that we are going to use in the class. So I will be periodically sending that. Okay. So I will get all your emails from Prabhat and I will send it to you. Okay. Now the actual class. Let's define what is software testing. Everybody want to learn software testing, but what is software testing? As you can see, there are two words. One is software and testing. What do you think of those words? Software and testing. You guys can chat, talk, anything.
This is the software.
I didn't get you. Can you repeat it? Testing
the software, if there is any bug or not, or if there is any error.
Okay, so is there any error or not? Okay. And Usha, she said that, okay, if it is something like this, you can send it to everybody so that rather than sending it privately so that everybody can see. And Usha was telling that testing is software and for defects and errors, Mother Usha, she said. And Sandhya was testing an application or a program. Okay, so there are two things, and you people are mentioned that. Let's define that. What is that? Of course, you guys got something. Software. First, define what is software. Okay, as Haripriya, Sandhya was telling that. Software is nothing but instructions, code, or programs. Sometimes it is called source code. Okay, so the software is developed with some of these like instructions that is related to a computer language. Okay, so that is called a software. Anything that you use means the developers who develops that, generally they write some statements. Those are called code, or sometimes it's called instruction, program, source code to particular language. By using particular computer language, they use that and they will develop that. Then what is testing? Testing these programs means whatever the developers they develop, testing those programs is called testing software application or testing software programs. Generally, as a software tester, you may not test the programs, but the programs are developed and make it as an application, so we will be testing the application. That's why we call this as software application testing. Okay, we are not testing the programs. The programs are written to work on, make it as an application. Since we are working on application, means we are testing the application. That's why it is called software application test. But why do we have to test? Why do you think we have to test the application? Means we don't have the developer develops, but why do we have to test? we don't have any confidence on the developer, or do you think that the developer makes many mistakes? Why do we have to test? So let's see that. And why software tester? Why do you think you need a software tester? And what they do generally? What is the job of a software tester? That we will see in this class now. Before defining all this, like why do we have to test, what the software tester do, first see some of the software error case studies. Means these are the incidents that happened in the past, and by looking at those error case studies, what we learn, that we will see. First, Disney Lion King. Everybody knows Disney, especially the kids, they like the Disney, and everybody want to visit in lifetime to Disney. So it was during 1994-95, Disney, they were releasing a DVD to the public, which is called Lion King. The movie name was The Lion King. Okay, this was during the Christmas time, and everybody wants to have one of those DVDs, especially the kids. I will ask everybody to mute if you are not using, please.
Purushottam, could you mute your...
Okay, so everybody wants to have the Lion King, Disney Lion King movie, and especially on the Christmas time, everybody wants to spend some money, and one of the things they have in the list that maybe it's a gift or they want to use it, so everybody has that in the list. So the day came and Disney released the product, means the movie, and everybody was in the queue. Everybody got one of those DVDs, and everybody excited to go and play those movies. Some of the people are lucky that the movie was playing, they were enjoying the movie, and it was very nice. I hope you guys also seen that movie. It's a really good movie, especially if the kids like it. But some of them are unlucky, and the movie was not working. And here, if it is something goes wrong, and especially with the kids, you can expect what's going to happen. People wanted to see, kids wanted to see, but it's not working. And everybody tried to call Disney, and Disney didn't expect this. It was working in their lab, everything is fine. Why we are getting these many calls? What is happening here? Later, they found out that there is an issue, that some of the DVD players are not playing the DVD. What went wrong? Disney found out that even though they tested the product in their lab, the product is not tested on each and every DVD player that are available in the market. Okay, Disney didn't expect that. Since they acquired in their lab some of the DVD player, maybe Popular, Sony, Toshiba, some other things. But you can think like how many types of DVD players are there. So it is, of course, it's not possible to test each and every DVD player, but at least they could have tested on major DVD players, and they could have mentioned in the product label that you need to have these kind of models or these kind of products. They didn't do that. So they are overwhelmed with the number of calls, and it's not only just the calls. To answer these calls, they have to hire new people and respond to their questions, why it is not working. And some of the people, they wanted to return that, so that they have to return the money to the people. So Disney had spent so much money, not only to answer these questions of the customers, but also they have to give money back to them. So they'll ask the money and also the time, how much time they spent to answer these calls to find the problem. Okay. So the basic thing is, even though it's tested, they didn't test properly. Or they didn't mention to the public how they can use this product. Okay. That went wrong, and they spent not only the time and also money there. So that is one of the case study that we learn from the mistakes. Let's see another type. Intel Pentium CPU. Intel is a well-respected company, and especially in the computers in those days, in 1995, 2000, after that, Intel was like a big war to release like a good powered CPUs. One of them are Intel Pentium. And everybody was excited that time. I think it was during 1998 or something. Okay. And there was some war going on between Intel and AMD. Who can release the fastest CPU to the public? Okay. So Intel advertised so much that we are going to release this Pentium and everything will going to change. And everybody was excited. Before release that product, they found out some problem there. Okay, if you have still like old Pentium CPUs during 1998, 2000, if you try this should give a value of 0. Okay, this equation, if you try this, it should give a 0 value, but it was not giving, it was giving something else. Even though they know there is a problem, but they already hyped in the market, they wanted to release this, and they looked at it, okay, this is not going to affect the general public, and they released the product to the public. And it was when a professor somewhere in Virginia, he was really doing some calculations, and he wanted to calculate this one, whatever you can see on the screen, and it was not giving the correct answer. Then he complained to the Intel, and they notified him that, okay, this is the problem, we already know. But since it was not known to public, it was fine. And somebody, notified to the media, and the media published in all the papers. Everybody was trying this equation, and everybody was not getting the correct answer. And you can see that number of cars, they are flooding. And even though the Intel company, they wanted to prove that this is required for you, but people, they didn't budge on that, and they were thinking maybe at least we reduce some price or take your laptop back. So at last, Intel took those laptops, paid more money to the customers, and from this, they learned that even though you know the problem, you took the risk, and with that risk, you lost money. Okay, so this is another case study, and with this we can learn it's again the money. Even though they know the problem, they release to the public, and they have to spend the money there. And another case study, the Y2K bug. Most of the people who are here during the millennium, means 2000, everybody knows what is this problem. I came during that time. I know I was a mainframe developer, especially the mainframe applications which was developed before 2000. All those programs, the problem was the date. Actually, the mainframes which were introduced before these personal computers, the PCs, during the 1970s, the mainframe was released. And during that time, the memory was very costly. It was more hard disk space. It is very costly that time. Okay, now you can get in the market 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, but it was like a dream that time. So the mainframes, in order to use the information, they wanted to save some space. So in order to store the date of birth or any date, what they did was, in order to store the date, today's date may be 04/16/2012. Okay. See, everybody can see my notes. Is everybody can see my notes?
No, I cannot see.
I cannot.
Okay, maybe I will use something else. Okay, the date was storing something. Okay, maybe color need to be changed. Okay, the date was actually storing like this. Okay, it should have stored something like this. Okay, to store this, generally it took about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 characters. Okay, so if there are a million people, so each data byte has to store in 10 characters. So what they decided, why don't we have to, store the date with a century? Okay, in those days actually it was 19, not 20,000. So they said, why don't we just store 04/01/12? Okay, that works. That's fine. And later they found out that why we had to use these slashes. Okay, take those slashes and just store 04/01/12. Okay, even that is work fine. Okay, so but they wanted to know what century we are in. Of course, the computers were developed in 19th century. So of course 20th century, the 19th is the year. So they already know that it is in 19th year. Why we have to store it? Everything was working fine until the 2000. The computers were thinking that when it comes to 2000, the computers didn't know that it is a 2000 year. Always it thinks, but the century was 19. Okay, even though it is 2000, 2001, it was thinking 1901, 1902, so and so. So that is a problem. It's not only just your computer, but also there are so many things that depended on the date. Nuclear installations, submarines, so many things, missile systems, so and so. Okay, so they wanted to rectify all these problems. During 1990, the U.S. government, they brought a law that, everybody has to fix all these issues, whether it is a military related or, application related, anything. So that's why we people, especially me, are here as a software developer for the mainframes. Okay, so they found they rectified the problem, they corrected this problem, but before rectifying this problem, was much anticipation what's going to happen during the 2000 if we are not going to fix it. Okay, and they spent a lot of money to fix these problems. Even though they know the problem before, but they don't have any other choice, either spend more money to acquire the memory or use something like this. So even though it is a known issue, since they cannot, spend more money, but it is a problem. Otherwise, you have all catastrophes if you don't have like a fix these issues. Okay, so this is another issue, another case study. Okay, let's see one more. Okay, everybody knows the Iraq War, the first Iraq War during 1991. That time the US had some Patriot missile systems that was newly developed and it was not used before, but it was well tested, and especially if it is a military related, they will take a lot of care to test this one. Okay, so it was using in the Iraq War and everything was working fine, but one fine day while using this system, 14 US soldiers were died. Okay, but later they found out that it's not only the location that they are using, because it was well tested here in America, but in Iraq it was too hot, and also even though maybe they tested for a certain time, 4, 5, 6 hours. Later they found out that after using for continuously 14 hours, there is a malfunction, means something is not working properly. So while using more than 14 hours, that was happened and 14 years soldiers were died. Okay. By looking at this, we can see that it's not only money. If you don't test properly, it's not only money, but also lives, people's lives that you can lose. Okay. So that's why people, after that, all these experience, people realize that we have to test. We have to test properly. Before coming here, hardly I see like testing teams are in any company. Later, if you see after 2000, many testers and many companies are after testing. Okay. So that's how they introduce testing. So these are some of the case studies, and that's what we learn from these issues. So let's define what is an issue or what is a bug. Okay. Can anybody say what is a bug?
It is an error or it is a defect that that when we develop an application that uses the defect or an error.
Okay. Is there any other names for that? It's a defect, error. Those are the different names. Are there any names that you heard? Anybody? Bug is a defect, problem, issue. Yes, Sanjay is telling that these are some of the other names: defect, problem, issue. And let's see what is a bug. And these are the terms for the bug: defect, error, fault, problem, failure, issue. Anything is, you can use it. But I can suggest that whenever you go to any company, people will go with some term. You want to familiar with that and use that so that everybody will be on the same page. It's not a big deal whether you call it a bug or defect, but you wanted to know generally what they call and you want to use that term. It's not a big deal, whatever you use. Some people I know that, especially in my company too, people will spend hours to name something, okay, or prepare some document, how you want to prepare. It's not a big deal. Just whatever you want to use it and continue on that one. But some people are fascinated about how we want to use it, how we want to name it. It's not a big deal. But why a software bug occurs? Why do you think a software bug occurs? Before defining what is a bug and why it occurs, let's see some of the definitions. One of them is product specifications. Specifications are requirements. What does it mean? Can anybody say what is that? Product specifications are requirements. You can name it anything, but it's the same thing. But what is that? So let's define that. A product specification is something. It is an agreement between those teams. There will be many teams. We are going to see that. They wanted to agree on something to develop before they wanted to develop it. So it is a kind of a document where it has some paragraphs of information. Sometimes this can be a verbal understanding, or a document. So people will write in a document, or sometimes it can be like orally, they will say that we want to develop this. Everybody agrees on it and they will move on it. So that is called a product specification. Most of the time it is called requirement or simply spec. Okay. So that is this. But why a software bug occurs? Who can we blame? Or who do you want to blame?
Who gives the specification?
Okay, so the BA.
BA.
Okay. Anybody else?
It may be a misunderstanding between the development and use the specification.
Are you defining the software requirement or?
But after, because of the misunderstanding between the different
So misunderstanding between different people, yeah. Okay. But
or it may be error in the
error in, I didn't get you.
error in the development code.
Error in the development code. So do you want to blame it on the developer or what do you think?
And it's like the code developed by the development team may not be running under all conditions. In particular conditions, let's say.
Okay, so you don't want to blame on the developer. Okay, of course, we don't want to develop sorry, we don't want to blame anybody. But no, Neha, she was telling anyone from initial level like BA to developer. So we can blame anybody from BA to developer. Okay, let's see who can we blame. So the number one cause of software bug is poor requirement. Okay, so that is the requirement that whatever we just defined, that is the number one cause. Sometimes the specifications are not clear or it isn't written properly. Means the specification, whoever said that, it may not be clear. Means the person who has written, maybe they have understood some way or they have written something different way, and people who depended on that may not understand what the person has written. Sometimes it is written properly. Okay, so if it is not written properly, I may not understand. And another reason is if the specifications keep on changing, the people who are dependent on that, they have to be on top of it. What changed, what it was before, and what it's going to be, what is today, why it is changed. Say, they sent me a document today, and I looked at it. I know now what is today. Tomorrow they change something, and of course they notified me, but I don't care. Okay, I looked at it, all the pages. It is 80 pages first. Now it is 80 pages. But I didn't realize that something is changed in it. So I was thinking whatever was mentioned in the first booklet or first document, and I was developing that. So once it is developed and somebody will point out why you developed this one, this was not it. Or the person whoever thought that it need to be changed, they didn't change it. So it could be anything. Either they know that it's changed, but I didn't realize that was changed, or the person didn't update the document, or it keep on changing and people may not cope up with those changes. So the number one cause of software defects are poor requirement. And what is the next one? Who can we blame the next? So the requirement generally gathered by the BAs. So the BAs we can blame. Of course, we cannot blame 100% on BAs. Maybe they have some problem gathering the information. They didn't get the information or they couldn't able to get that information. We cannot blame just BAs. Who can we blame? The number one cause or the number two cause of software defects are the design. Once a document is written, they have to design it. Generally, it will be done by the architects and the developers. And the number two cause of the software defects are the design document. By looking at this picture, you can say that more than 50% is the cause is the specification, the requirement document. And about 30-40% is design document. And of course, later you can blame on the code and other people. But mostly, whenever it is software, if you find any defects, it will be blamed on the developer. Because as a software tester, you are testing the application which is developed by the developer. And always, I know based on my experience also, I can say that we blame on the developer. Why did you develop this way? Okay. Again, when you research on this, always it will point to either design or the requirement. But while looking at that, when does a software bug occur? When do you think a software defect happen in application? Let's see some of those things. These are the 5 things if you see, and if any of one of these is correct, means there is a defect, or you can open a defect. Let's discuss in the detail. The first one is the software doesn't do something that the product specification says it should do. Okay, the software doesn't do something that the product specification says it should do. So the software specification says it has to do something, means when you click on this button, this page should be displayed. But that is not happening in the application. Means you can think that if it is not happening, then you can think that there is a defect in it, or you can open a defect. Let's see the second one. The software does something that the product specification says it should not do. The software does something that the product specification says it shouldn't do. Okay, what's wrong with that? The software is doing, but it is not mentioned in the requirement document. It's not required. Maybe it's something that developer thought that, okay, we can keep it there. It's not doing any harm to application or the functionality. But why we had to do that? Because the software didn't mention that. So if the software is doing something which is not mentioned in the requirement, means that is a defect. The third one, the software does something that the product specification doesn't mention. Okay, the software does something that the product specification doesn't mention. So the software didn't mention, but the software is doing something. So that is also a defect. The fourth one, the software doesn't do something that the product specification doesn't mention but should. The software doesn't do something that the product specification doesn't mention but should. Maybe somebody forgot about it. And of course, it is not mentioned in the software or in the document, so the developer didn't develop it. But it should do. Somebody forgot it or somebody didn't think about it. Then you can open a defect in that time too. Say suppose if you go to Amazon.com and you selected some products there, maybe 4 products, and each product is mentioned with the product name and the price. Okay, everything is fine. When you selected that, where you are ready to pay the money, and you didn't know the product page is not displaying how much is the total. Okay, nobody thought about it, and the requirement didn't specify you had to provide the total, and the developer didn't do that. But it should be, because the customer need to know how much is the total amount. Means if it is not there, then means you can open a defect. The fifth one, the software is difficult to understand or hard to use. Sometimes it is slow, or as a user, I don't think it is right. Say suppose you don't know what page is displaying, where we are going. It's difficult to track as a user. If you as a developer or a tester facing all these problems, you can think that a user can also face these problems. You already have the knowledge about what you are developing, but a user doesn't have any knowledge. And once it is released to the people, and how the people will cope up with this. And it is very hard to use sometimes. Okay, with, the pages is displaying so many things, and you don't understand where we have to go and where we have to enter information. Hard to use. And sometimes the response is very slow. You went to Amazon.com, you ordered it, and you wanted to check out. When you add it to the cart to pay the bill, and it is taking too much time. You don't know what is happening in the background. Or all it is displaying a blank screen. Whether it's working or not, it is very slow. How can I use it? And sometimes, even though you are a tester, you will be thinking about as a user too. As a user, even though you are a tester, you think this doesn't make any sense to me. If it is not making sense to you, means it doesn't make to the user also. Okay, in that situation, you can open a defect. If any of these five, if you think is happening, you can open a defect. That is the time you can open a defect. This is another thing. While fixing, when you find the defects, to fix these problems, you have to spend time and money. It is always early to find the defects and fix it as soon as possible. As the cost to fix the problem, it goes exponentially. If you see this graph, and these are the different stages in the software development, and these are the costs to fix those defects. So suppose, think that these are in thousands, and these are the different phases. And you are in the requirement phase, and you found a defect, and to fix that problem, maybe it will be costing you $10,000. As you go, you are into the design phase, and you found the same issue here. Instead of here, you found the issue that here. Now it is costing maybe around $18,000 to fix the same problem. As you go into the coding and the same problem, to fix that, it may cost you about $30,000. As it goes on, if you move that product into production and you found that defect, to fix that problem, maybe it will be costing $110K. So, by looking at this graph, if you find the defects early, to fix that is easy and it costs less. As you find the defects in different phases, as you go, and to fix those problems, it is very difficult. Means money-wise, especially. You have to spend money to find the defects and correct those defects. That is how you will be spending the money. Let's see now what actually a software tester do. What do you think a software tester do? What a software tester do? I think, he doesn't do anything. Just on your responses, he doesn't do. Okay, let's see what the person, software tester, what he will do. Okay, I got one response. It is from Monali. It detects the bugs and reports it to the development team. Write and tune the code. Not actually. Software testers. Okay, let's see. The goal of a software tester is to find the defects. Okay. The goal of a software tester is to find the bugs. But once you find the defects, is your job is done? No. Let's see what you can do. The goal of a software tester is to find bugs and find them as soon as possible. We have seen in the previous slide. To fix the defects, how much it will cost. The person has to find the defects as soon as possible. Okay, of course you found the defects sooner. What you are going to do? As soon as you find the defects, you wanted to make sure they get fixed. That's correct, Purushottam, yes. Okay, you found the defects, but somebody has to fix it. You wanted to make sure that is fixed. It's not only just finding and reporting, but you wanted to make sure those are get fixed. Once it is fixed, you have to retest them. Okay, so that is the goal of the software. Find the defects, but find them as soon as possible. You need to communicate, means you have to report to the people who are going to fix that. Once they fix it, it is your job to retest it. Okay, as a tester, you found the defect, but you reported and the guy, developer said, we fixed the problem. You just take their word because you wanted to make sure that whatever they fixed it is working and it's not happening. That is your job. But as a software tester, you have to retest it. That is the job of a software tester. Of course, software tester, he will be finding the defects, reporting and fixing. But what makes a good software tester? What do you think? Do you think he has to have a nice dresses or he has to wear that? What do you think? What makes a good software tester?
You should be able to find out what is in the possible.
Of course, that is, they have to find the issues as soon as possible. The person who finds more issues, of course. At which level and which level you are going to find them. Let's see. The software tester has to be explorer. Means once the product is developed and it is given to the tester, means they have to explore. Maybe the software document says you have to do this way. As an explorer, maybe I will follow that, but I want to have a curiosity to find the different things. Whether I can do this or the same thing, whether I can do it in a different way. Okay, the tester has to have that curiosity. They are troubleshooters. If there is any problem, you want to troubleshoot why it is happening. Maybe a issue is happening today, but it didn't happen yesterday. What caused to happen that issue today? Why didn't it happen? What is causing now? What changed? Okay, you have to troubleshoot. Of course, as a software tester, you cannot, do many things, but whatever possible, you wanted to troubleshoot it. They are relentless. Means just try it, keep on try it. And they are creative too. Maybe somebody said you can find this way, and we will try and do the same thing in different way, even though that is not mentioned there, because you explored the application, which you can try with different things. Maybe you have a good idea to do something. Okay, so the software tester need to have that. They are perfectionists, means whatever they are doing, it should be perfect. Of course, not everything can done perfectly, but whatever you do is, whatever you are doing is, it is perfect. If you think that that is a defect, yes, that is a defect. And you may think, oh, okay, I may think that is a defect. No, you want to be perfect. In the end, of course, it's not always, you cannot be perfect, but that is one of the qualities a software tester should have. They exercise good judgment. Whenever they find something or whenever they are doing something, always they exercise good judgment. Means whatever they think based on the knowledge, or if they are telling to somebody, that is correct. You take a good judgment to decide something. They are tactful and diplomatic. This is always true in software development, that you will see many people, many different people. And some people are cool, some people are very hard to work. But as a tester, you want to make sure your job is done. How you can do? Maybe you buy something. I don't say that, but I'm just, kidding. You wanted to a diplomatic or tactful. You always maybe greet the person whoever trying to fix the issues, even though you are finding so many issues, and the developer may, one day he may not be, doing good, or he may be angry, maybe whatever the reason. But as a tester, you wanted to, tactful and diplomatically, you wanted to say something in order to say, because of you, this problem is happening. Definitely everybody, anybody, developer or anybody can get angry. Instead of saying that, you should have said something else. Or you should have sent an email in advance. Okay, this is going to happen. Or I'm going to send in a defect. Just I found it. Then you go and talk with him. Okay, this is what happening when I was doing this way. Maybe the person will have an advance, notice that what you are going to say, and he will make cool down. So a tester should have those things. They are persuasive. Means sometimes as a tester you will be involving in the requirements too. And people who have more knowledge, like BAs and people who have like real business experience, they have some ideas. But they develop the product, and when it comes to testing, as a user, you think that this may not be correct. And everybody, it is an industry that, why we have to listen to him? He is just a tester. Maybe you want to show them, if you do this way, this is going to affect our business. We are going to lose this. Okay? So that's how you perceive and make sure whatever you think is correct, and maybe if it is correct, and make sure they understand this, and you will show some real things. This is going to happen if you are going to do this. And somebody will agree it, and they think that we have to change this. Okay? So as a good tester, you need to have all these kind of qualities. Always people will say you need to have a good communication. Okay, one of them is a good communication you need to have, but as a software tester, you need to have some of these qualities. Okay, I will be sending two audio files, and I will be uploading to a website, and I will ask you to download. And just download these two files, and whenever you have some time, listen those things. And these are something like a good communication skills that everybody needs to have. So just listen to those topics. Okay, let's go to the quiz. But before going to quiz, anybody has any questions? That's so far what we discussed. I expected any questions. People have different backgrounds, and maybe you guys understand what I say, or you are not understanding anything. Okay, so if you guys don't have any question, let's go for the quiz. Let's take that YTK example, whatever we discussed. As a programmer, okay, the programmer who developed this means when they developed it, maybe the programmer might think that, okay, this is going to happen. Means if we store the date in this format, maybe 6 characters instead of with a year, century, this is going to happen. Do you think the programmer did something wrong there? Not informing to the people? Because as a manager, they may not know, because since you are the programmer who developed this, and you might think that, this is going to bite one day. Do you think the programmer did something wrong there?
He should be informing it to the higher authorities.
That's exactly, because if that is a problem, and the programmer may not have the correct answer, but at least he could have informed to the higher management so that they could have taken any decision. Okay, so it is saving some memory to store the date, but at least because after 25 years that programmer is gone and nobody, of course, this is a problem everybody knows. But in real scenario, if nobody noticed that, and after 25 years that programmer is gone, and all of a sudden this problem occurs. So at least, even though everybody knows the memory is very costly during that time, the programmer could have informed to the higher management, maybe a manager, senior manager, whoever it is, and they could have taken some decision there. Or they could have anticipated this is going to happen, we need to fix that. Let's see another question. It's important what term your company or team calls a problem in its software. Do you think that is a true or false? Do you think it's important to know what is the term they use in the company for a software defect?
Not that important.
Has any other answers? Who was this? It's not important, somebody said.
Not that important. You will come to know while you are doing your job.
Yeah, definitely, yes. That is false. As I said, you need to know the term that you have to know. That generally they use it, but that is not that important. If somebody understands what you are talking, that is fine. You don't want to, what is this is called, why it is called. You are not concerned about that. That's why it's false. What's wrong with just testing the program works as expected? Okay, as a tester, you have to test it, right? The application. And we tested that. Okay, the requirement says the application has to work this way. And you did that and your job is done. What's wrong with that? First of all, do you think there is a wrong?
You need to test the program and you need to anticipate in all ways. Like Disney ranking, they tested it and it was working fine, but they didn't expect that it will not work in few DVD players. So that is the wrong sir. You did not need to test the program as it's going to work as expected, but you need to also anticipate.
Yeah, that is one of the things. As an explorer, you want to try different things. You don't want to just go by book. Okay, you want to try the different ways. Of course, it's always dependent on the time, how much time that you have. But as a tester, it's not only just what is specified in the requirement, but sometimes you wanted to go beyond that and try. You want to explore it, or you want to try different things and make sure that it's going to work. Because once it is moved into the production, once it is moved into the users, you never know the people who are going to use in only particular way. Okay, they will try different things. Maybe it's a known unknown. As a tester, you should be doing the same thing. You wanted to be in a user position and you will try what the user is going to be doing. Because you wanted to test that application before it goes to the public, means all the users. As a software tester, you want to try different things and make sure it works, whatever you do. So that's why it's wrong that, whatever the book says, I will do that. The tester mentality should not be like that. You always try to different things, different ways. Okay, this is generalized question. How much more does it cost to fix a bug found after the product is released than it does from the very beginning of the project?
It's very expensive.
Okay, can you give us some percentage wise? Yes.
Probably 25% more. 10 to 25% more.
Yeah, definitely. We have seen through the graph that it will be maybe the first in the requirement stage it costed 10,000. When it comes to production, it was 110,000. Okay, it's more than 10 times. Definitely, Sanjay, you are correct there. What is the goal of a software tester? What do you think is software tester goal? We have just seen that. What do you think is software tester goal? Find a defect, make sure it is fixed. Okay, find bugs and fix it as soon as possible and retest it. That's correct, yeah, of course. So as a software tester, your job is not only just to find the defect, find them as soon as possible and make sure it is get fixed and retest that. Okay, so that is your job. Okay, a good tester relentlessly strives for perfection. Is it true or false? A good tester relentlessly strives for perfection. Sanjay said false. Tanya false. Danya said true. Usha said true. Okay, a lot of truths. So this is something, we learn that the always tester tries relentlessly. But in reality, what happens, how much time that you want to spend? You want to see perfect way it is displayed. Let's take one example. Maybe the software which is developed is best suited for this some resolution, 780 times 1024 pixel. Okay, it's working, but 780 by 1024 which is mentioned and it is working okay. And there is no problem with that. But 780 times 723, if you said that, it is more clear than that. Okay. As a software tester, you want to try and try and try. As I said, it always depends on your time, how much time that you have. So to this answer, it is false. But as a theory, whatever we are learning, that you will try, keep on trying. But once you go and work on any application, you may not have that much time. Okay. People will say, okay, it's working, it's fine. Let's move on. That's going to happen in real life. Give several reasons why the product specification is usually the largest source of bugs in the software product. Why do you think the specification document is the largest source of bugs? Why do you think? Okay, somebody saying that what is the bits line number? Need to try from other phone. The battery is dead. Okay. Actually, I don't have the bridge line. Okay, hold on. Let me do one more thing. Okay, you can call my number. Of course, we are going to done. You can call this number and I can pick up the phone and you can listen to that. Okay, give me a minute. Let me pick my phone. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, can you hold 1 second, please? Hello. Okay. Okay, so give me several reasons why the product specification is usually the largest source of bugs.
One would be the miscommunication, and the other would be the frequent changing of product specifications.
That's correct, yes. And somebody also mentioning the same thing, frequent change the requirement design document. Somebody mentioned that specifications are not clear because if we don't have good specification document, we cannot continue properly. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly. If the requirement, whatever we discuss, if it is not clear or if it is written poorly or if you don't understand something, that's why all these issues can happen. These are the major reasons that. So this is the end of the quiz for today's class, and you guys have any other questions that you want to ask or. Okay, so the tomorrow class, which is software development life cycle, we are going to take some an example and we will be defining what is software development life cycle and who is involved in that. Okay, what are the people that they are going to involve in that? We are going to define that tomorrow. Yeah, sure. Actually, she's asking me, what is the goal of software tester? That is, the good tester relentlessly strives for perfection. Okay. Okay, but basically, even though the theory is that you want to try relentlessly and find the issues. Keep on trying it. But once you go into any software, means any company, what happens, it depends on the time. Okay? If you want to try for the perfection, it may not happen. Okay? People will say, maybe the manager will say, we have so much things to worry, maybe move on. Just leave it. It's working, and you may not work something else. You want to complete that. Okay? So the answer is false, basically. So in theory, you have to try relentlessly, but that may not happen. That's why it is false. Okay. Okay. So we are going to discuss the software development life cycle tomorrow. And if you guys have any questions, you can always send me an email. You have my email number. Email. You can send to anything. I will try to respond to you, sooner, because I can mostly I will try to answer it as soon as possible. But sometimes it will be delayed, but I will try to answer your questions. Okay. So as I said, I will be sending that communication file and some of the emails that we have discussed today, that websites, names, so and so. Okay, please go through those things. And always I will try to encourage you to go through anything that related to testing, since you want to try the job and you wanted to work on the job. Hopefully everybody, that's why people are here in this class. So go there and try to set something on the Google, which is sometimes the topic is too boring or sometimes it's over the head. So, you keep on trying to search whatever the information that you are looking. Maybe it's a new old thing that you already know. Try to go through it. Okay. So that it will be easy for you to understand. Even though I've been working in the software industry more than 17 years, I still try to learn new things always. Okay. And that is actually life, right? Sometimes you learn things from the kids also. You never expect that, we can do this way. So always there is the thing, something like, you can learn always. So the same thing, even though I'm teaching here, sometimes it may not be sufficient. Okay. Somebody has a good idea. Somebody has mentioned in somewhere else. So it will not bother to learn new things. So that's what I will always encourage, to go there and try different things. Okay. Somebody is asking, can I pick the manual from the Phoenix location? Yes, you can pick it from the Phoenix location, but call Prasad there and ask that, I'm going to come there to pick up the material so that it will be ready for you. I need to call them before one. Yes, please. Will you give us any exercises to do? Okay, yes, we will do some exercises as we go through it. Some of them are some practical that you are going to do in the class, and some of them are like take home and you will be doing it home. I will be giving some of them. Okay. Can you please email the quiz so that we can go through them one more time? Yes, definitely. I will send the quiz with answers. Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so if you guys don't have any questions, then we will conclude this class for today, and we will continue that tomorrow. So the classes will be every Monday, Tuesday, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so if you have any difficulty or anything, you always can call me. I gave you my number, and you can also call Prasad or Prabhat. Okay, anybody can guide you or anything. If you have difficulty in joining the class, it's better you call Prabhat. If you don't find, or you can call me, I just published my number, so you can call me anytime. And during the class, if you have any difficulty. Okay? So good night all, and hopefully I will see you tomorrow.